Hey guys, so welcome back, episode 3. And I want to change out the format a little bit. And you guys know, if you've been watching it by now, I just like to get straight into it. So I had an interesting topic I saw on um, BJJ, the subreddit, and the topic was about like a man not wanting to roll with a woman, or like feeling weird about it or something like that. And it's really strange. This question kind of pops up on Reddit a lot, or this topic pops up a lot, and it's just like, hey, like, who cares? Like, the other guys aren't thinking about you touching them in any way, and I'm sure the women are not thinking about you touching them anyway, unless you're being weird about it. Like, you're just rolling, right? Everybody's there to train and get better at something. I never had any like weird thoughts, but it's just always interesting seeing like people post those kind of things. Um, that considered, though, I saw some comment talking about how you shouldn't, like, the guy said like, oh, I don't use strength when I roll with women. I just use like technique, and I try to out like technique them. If I can't out technique them, then like, oh well. And I personally think that's kind of foolish. Because if the guy is bigger than a smaller guy, and there is two guys rolling and one's bigger, and you put him in a Kimura and he like powers out of the Kimura, like, should he not power out of the Kimura? Like, he 100,000% should power out of the Kimura. Why would I allow you to break my arm? Because you technically got the grips faster than I recognized. Like, it doesn't, like, that doesn't make sense. So when it comes to like grappling with women, why am I gonna give a woman who's trying to get better, and she's training, she's like, she's doing everything that I'm doing, right? She's training. I'm sure she wants to get better. So why would I give her a fake submission? I wouldn't want somebody to give me a fake submission. What does that do at the end of the day? I was listening to a podcast that was suggested to me, and it's like, you shouldn't, shout out to Meg. You shouldn't be just like, you have way more to offer. You shouldn't just be a layover. You shouldn't just offer side control to people, or you shouldn't just offer your limbs to people. And maybe that's not what they mean by out technique, but like, when I read that and say like, oh, I'm not going to use any strength, I've wrote like that in the past. And I just, if a woman has a grip, or even if the guy's smaller than me, they have a grip, or the maybe like experience is lower than me, I'll just let them, like, I'll roll over and give them like whatever, the sweep, or I won't give necessarily submission, but I'll give the grips that lead up to the submission, and then I'll try to fight like late stages defense for there. But after listening to that podcast, I really should. I'm gonna add it in the description below. It's a really good one. I think it's BJJ Mental Models. I think that is that podcast. But it was just like, hey, you should. If people are training, you should give them, you have way more to offer. If you are good at arm bars, then armbar them and keep armbarring them, and then they're eventually their defense is going to build for armbar. And I feel like strength is also a skill, because I think some people are just naturally like strong, but for the most part, I know for me, I did a lot of strength training, so it was a skill that I had to like develop and become stronger at. And so then I'm not supposed to use it at jiu-jitsu. What's next? Like, you're not supposed to use your speed, your quickness. And then you look at the Mendez brothers, it's like, wait, like, you just look at any competitive person, period. And I know we're looking at competitors versus hobbyists, yada yada yada. But everybody's goal is to get better for the most part. You're coming to do jiu-jitsu to, I know, have a community, have a good time, of course, but also, aren't you like looking to get just a little bit better? If people aren't challenging you, if all the guys that you roll with are, that they're just letting you do anything, why would the woman want to continue to roll? Like, if I know that you're gonna just allow me to do whatever I want, pass your guard willy nilly, I'm not gonna want to roll with you. If you're not gonna be a challenge, then why would I want to roll with you? Regardless if you're strong, I got to figure out a way to deal with your strength, right? And the woman will have to figure out a way to deal with a guy's strength. I'm not saying go overboard and like slam her or do anything crazy, throw her or anything like that. I'm not saying that. And I would, like, don't do that to smaller guys either, right? But the appropriate amount of strength to be like, hey, you're not going to get that submission just because you're not strong enough. I think that's pretty fair, honestly. Or you're not going to get that sweep just because I'm too big, I'm too strong, I'm too solid. You're not going to sweep me in that direction. I mean, I put Kimuras on guys and they're like, yeah, Dave, didn't you, Brad, shout out to Brad, put Kimuras on Brad. And he was like, Dave, didn't you learn this lesson already? Like, it's not going to work. I tried it again and it did not work. Right. And maybe I can think like, oh, maybe there's some like technical like way that I can go about it, but he's just bigger than me and stronger than me. Like, so why aren't we giving that same love and support to women? I call it love and support. Like, if you really care about them, they should know whether or not they could do a technique against you. Yeah, but that's just me. Maybe I'm wrong, but either way, I wanted to get into a role that I did. I think it was on Sunday. I did a roll on Sunday, so last week Sunday. What